Hi everyone, my name is Tyler Oakley, and I did a little video this year that was really fun to do. It was called Questions I've Always Avoided, and I have done my fair share of Q&As in the past, but it appeared as if there were like always questions that I'd be like, no, I can't answer that, no, I don't want to answer that. And then it got to the point where I was like, okay, you know what? I just need to say the things, do the things, respond to what y'all want to know. And I put that video up and y'all seem to really like it. So I figured, why not do a part 2 and answer all of your juicy questions. If you want to watch my first answering questions I've always avoided video, the link is going to be below, but I answered a lot of the questions that you guys always bombard me with. It was honestly a little bit stressful, but then when it was over, I was like, this is like nice. So I think I'm ready to do another. Let's see what you want to know. Although you may cringe about it, do you hate your past persona on YouTube? Oh my God. Like sometimes I will see content that I've made and I will think, what the was I up to? Cringe is really the right word because I cringe at so much of the stuff that I put on the internet over the years. As I get older and the more videos I make and the more time that I spend making videos, I get closer to presenting to you guys who I am in my like everyday life. But yeah, there's so much from when I was like figuring out who I was, or maybe I was just like a different person. And I feel like people grow and evolve every single day. So who I was presenting on YouTube back then very well could have been who I was in my everyday life. But now looking back, I'm like, okay, well, there is a disconnect. If you ever scroll back years and years and years into my content, you would probably feel the same. So do I hate my old YouTube persona? No, because it might have been who I felt comfortable sharing at the time, and it definitely opened so many doors for where I am today. So like, I don't hate it. It's just cringe, you know? Imagine going and looking back at anything in your life 5 years ago. You're gonna be like, oh girl, what was I up to? Have you ever done a nude photo shoot? I really have not. The closest I feel like I've ever gotten to like taking nudes was I have a couple pictures on my phone that boyfriends have taken of me, and it's not even like anything sexual, like, why am I sweating? Long story short, we were at a cabin and they had an outdoor shower and I was showering and my boyfriend at the time was like, girl, your butt looks good. And I was like, take a picture. And then he took a picture. And so now I have that picture on my phone of my butt. But it's like full body and I'm like looking back at it. And so that's the closest I've ever gotten to a nude. Other than that, I have never really done that. It's just like not my nature. But that's the closest I have. So that's my nude photo shoot. Maybe someday I'll post it. What are you thinking about kids? Do you still want them? Only with the right guy or alone as well? Any plans? I have always thought that I wanted kids. Let me just start with that. I come from a really big family. I've always thought like I wanted to also have a really big family, but the older I get, I don't know how to say this. I don't know if it's for me anymore. I don't know. I just kind of feel like if you're a parent, don't take this the wrong way, this is only for me, but I feel like kids are a big time, money, energy investment, and there are so many risks that come with it that I feel like the risks kind of outweigh all of the costs. So I kind of feel like kids are a burden that I don't want to bear, especially because I feel like Earth is really not good. Like there's a lot of bad, and to bring a child into that, I would feel kind of guilty. I would feel like, bitch, we don't got our shit together and there's already so many people on Earth. If I were to have kids, I would 100% adopt. There's no world in which I would want to do a surrogate or anything like that. I feel like there's already kids that need families. So if I were to do it, I would adopt. And maybe kids will be good down the line. But as of right now, I'm kind of leaning toward maybe I don't want kids. That feels weird to say out loud because I've always said that I wanted kids, but who knows, that could change depending on if I move or if I meet a certain person and maybe like we realize we want to have kids together, or I don't know what it could possibly be, but I'm open to it. But currently I'm kind of leaning like, I'm good. Do you or have you ever taken steroids? No, I have never. It's not more complicated than that. Do you believe in God? Were you raised religious? So I was always raised religious. I grew up going to Catholic church. I went to like Christian church after that, and I never really believed. Even when I was like itty bitty, I like didn't really get the gig. I understood the stories of God and it felt really mythological, but I just was kind of like, we all agree this is like shenanigans we're up to right now. Because especially as somebody who went to Catholic church, if anybody else went to Catholic church, it's so fucking weird. Like the rituals you get up to and you're worshiping a zombie and like this, that, the other. I know there's more to it for some of you, but like religion itself has never really been for me. I've always been kind of like, girl, what are we wasting our Sunday doing? On the other hand, I feel like spirituality as I get older is way more something that I would be interested in. Currently in my life, I'm not really dabbling that much into all of that. At the very most, most, and at the very least, I would say I am agnostic because I don't really know, and I am fine not really knowing, and it's something that I'm not really interested in diving into, because if there's been billions and billions and billions of people that have never figured out whether there's a God or not with proof, bitch, what the fuck do I think I'm about to figure that out? Like, I'm currently just living my life. So no, I am not religious. It feels like a waste of a very perfectly great Sunday. Do you tend to be monogamous or poly? I have never really decided if I have like an identity as far as this goes. I feel like I'm pretty fluid depending on who I'm with, but in general, I am not a monogamous type of person. I don't really subscribe to like one person being your one and only. I feel like you have multiple soulmates throughout your life. Sometimes you might encounter more than one of them at once. It's like, who am I to say whether or not I have one person for the rest of my life? I don't know. I'm open to more than that. If I want to go do something, that doesn't necessarily mean that I love someone. And just because I love someone doesn't mean I can't go do something or like somebody else too. It's like, girl, brains are not that rigid. You know what I'm saying? So like, I am not somebody who leans toward monogamy. I'm just not. Hi friends! Okay, so I have to interrupt because I want to give some love to our sponsor for today's video, and that is Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for curious and creative people. You can explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in your curiosity. And it is less than $10 a month with an annual subscription. One class that really stood out to me on Skillshare that I love is called Plants at Home, Uplift Your Spirit and Your Space. It's taught by Christopher Griffin, and it's all about like assessing your lifestyle and your space and finding the right plants for you. And y'all know I love my plants, so like it was like perfect for me. The first 1,000 people that click the link in the description are gonna get a free trial to Skillshare Premium membership. So if you want to join me in being a lifelong learner, click the link below. And thank you so much Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Now back to the juiciness. What is the time you felt most lost in your life, and how did you find your way? Well, I got some good news and bad news. The bad news is it's because of y'all. Kind of, a little bit. It was like YouTube. It was too much. And I had been doing it for years and years and years, and I didn't really know the direction I was going, and it felt really uninspired, and I felt like, what was I doing with my time, and who was I? And I didn't really have a good support system, and it just kind of felt aimless and empty. And I was doing red carpets, or I was doing the Tyler Oakley show, and I was just really unfulfilled by any of that because it was so vapid and part of just churning out content that didn't do anything. It was right after the 2016 election, and I was so bummed. I mean, obviously, because of everything, but I put so much of like my time and energy into one thing, and it felt like it was the right thing, which was getting Hillary elected. And when that didn't happen, I internalized a lot of that. I felt really shitty about it. And then I remember there were like videos that people on YouTube would make about why Tyler Oakley's career has died. And all of them pointed at me being too political, and I was just like so resentful. I had thought I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, and it turned into a reason people perceived that I was not good anymore. So that kind of sucked, and I didn't really know how to deal with it. I would sit down to try to film a video, and I would be so frustrated to the point of tears and like canceling the day and being like, I can't film. I felt so paralyzed in a lot of ways, in my creative outlets and my friend group and dating. It's just like everything was so much. And at one point it was so heavy that I was like, okay, I gotta do something. And so I did some research and tried to find someone to talk to. I had gone to therapy in the past, but it had been years since I had done that. And I knew deep within me, I was like, I got some stuff I need to work through. So I started going to therapy, and that was really helpful because just articulating something and bouncing something off of somebody else who is trained to help you deal with stuff, that was a game changer because I was able to start to make some concrete changes that set me up for success instead of just like wallowing and accepting that I was a failure fuck up. And I decided that I needed to like make those changes. So therapy was a really helpful thing. I don't know if I've ever talked about this anywhere. I don't think I have. Maybe I've said it on the podcast, maybe once, but I started to take antidepressants, which I know that I shouldn't feel weird about saying that because we are here to normalize mental health and taking care of your mental health and to destigmatize solutions for yourself. I'm not suggesting it for anyone out there. I'm saying I did it for me. I'm all of that, blah, 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 blah. But for me, it was a game changer. And I have been on them for a year or two. I don't know. know. It's been really wonderful because if you've read my book, I kind of talked a little bit about feeling suicidal tendencies at the end of that book. And that was something that kind of stayed with me over the years. And I had kind of kept those things to myself. That was like the only time that I really ever talked about them. But it was something that I dealt with and I still kind of deal with. But now that I have done some of the work and I have found medication that's right for me, it has really been helpful. And I'm grateful that I have access to those things because I was in a dark place for a while. And I feel like I'm kind of better now. This one, I feel like I get asked so much. Somebody says, is Ellen really that bad? So y'all know I made the Tyler Oakley show with Ellen. She was the co-executive producer for it and I would see her a lot. So I have had some interactions with her. She has always been pleasant with me, but that does not negate anything that anybody else has ever experienced or anybody that might be on her staff. Just because you have a good moment with somebody does not mean that they have always been good or that they are always great to everyone. So with that said, I can't really speak to if she's good or bad. Like, who am I to say? I firmly believe that besides dictators and terrorists and like terrible, terrible murderers and things like that, nobody is as bad as their worst thing or as good as their best thing. And so I think people are nuanced. I don't know if I am the one judge to determine whether or not Ellen is terrible or good. And I don't know if you are either. I hope that she's good. I hope that she's nice. I hope that she's not as bad as a lot of people think that she is in 2020. Okay, here's one that I'm not quite sure what to say because it's, have you ever felched or been felched? I feel like felching, it's definitely in my brain. I vaguely remember learning about what that was. It feels very Urban Dictionary. You know what I mean? It's like something like the kids would be like, oh, you like felching, something like that. But I don't think I've heard that in a long time. So I feel like it's not something that people actually do. It's like something that kids think is like gross and funny or something. Okay, Google, what is felching?
According to Wikipedia, felching, when semen or other fluids are sucked from the anus.
No! Yeah, that does ring a bell. Let me think. I don't think I have. Is this a question I've always avoided? No, but it should have been. Not that I'm against it. It's never really come up, but there's still time. I'm only 31. That honestly felt really good to like get some of my insecurities off my shoulders and tell y'all the truth, get really real with you. I feel good about it. I highly recommend if you've ever felt a little like pent up in what you wanted to share, but you didn't know how, just say the truth. It feels good. I highly recommend. If you like this video and you want to maybe see another answering questions I've always avoided, give this a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe, hit the little bell button below so you know every single time I upload a brand new video, it's gonna let you know. And now that I've done 2 of these, I feel like I'm ready for a new batch of questions. So let me know in the comments below, what would you like me to answer that I have never answered before? If you guys have been watching, you know there are certain things that I don't talk about and I'm ready. I'm ready. Just let me know what you wanna know. Okay, that is all I have for you guys today. Have a good life. I will see you guys next week. Bye.